Those were good. All right, let's see what happened last session. You guys started off down in the winery basement. Um, Over in the corner, Mud, you just finished off helping Stefania heal. You assume it's her husband, Adrian. And I actually had you roll the perception for this. There's something a little odd about him. You couldn't place it at the time, especially with all the chaos going on around and stuff, but there was something odd about this man. It's sort of going to linger on you a little bit. You're not sure what it is. It's doesn't seem nefarious or anything. Just like, man, you've seen him somewhere. Um, Stefania ordered all of the other NPCs that were in the room. There was an older couple, her husband, and then two younger couple, to head on out of this basement and head further north up the road to meet with Davian, who was waiting for them at the outskirts of the winery land or the plot, and mentioned that he'd be out there and that she would come and get them when it was time, and asked you to all basically help her find the head druid and take care of the situation if you were willing. Did notice that after you healed him, Mud, they all kind of gathered around him and turned him into this small raven that they cradled as they took off out of this place. As you all headed up the stairs, Jack came back through the doorway from the mists outside. You noticed as you passed by the door, all those NPCs, even though it was just a few moments later, did seem to be already gone into the fog. But that's when Jack showed up. He seemed to be pretty badly roughed up, banged up. One arm was hanging sort of limp. He had his serrated blade in his other. But he seemed to be interested in helping you kill these forest folk, because there's nobody he hates more than forest folk, except for the Vistani, of course. And so he joined you for the time being. You guys headed out and around the winery, circled back around to the stable area, saw that the head druid fellow was up in the loft above doing something. And then there was three barbaric ones and a couple blights out in the distance. And you guys sort of split off and took pretty good work of those. Things looked like it turned a little bad about halfway through as the druid ended up taking out Mud, taking out Dre. Mornak dropped. I think Sealy dropped. Basically everybody at one point or another, Victor. But in the end, you all were able to come back to, everybody was able to get to each other in time. Let's see, Jack ended up getting his ass kicked by this druid as well, and he took off to escape out of this place in a flock of crows, not ravens. Let's see. Mornak, you took quite a chunk of corruption as he seemed to be feeding the blood or this black ichor from the staff into your chest. I think I messaged you with the changes over there. Yes. So as you wake up in the morning, he will have those changes. And same with everybody else. I think everybody I covered. So if I messaged you anything odd or you had your roll or whatever, those changes take place upon waking up the next morning, which is basically where we're going to pick off. Once you guys were able to finally take care of this druid and get everything sort of squared away, you headed back inside. Stefania went and retrieved her family and friends and came back. Everybody is fairly roughed up, but they look healthy as to be expected. Stefania, thank you all, gave you all a place to stay for the evening and mentioned that food would be available in the morning. And looked like she wanted to talk to you, Mud, but your feralness seemed to come through, so she just left you be at that. The one druid turned into a bear, and that's basically what screwed you guys over and beat the shit out of you for a bit. But yeah, basically you guys got your ass kicked a whole bunch of times, and you survived long enough to make it till morning. Anything that I missed? Good. All right. And we ended up last session with all of you sort of talking about what your character was up to during this nightly rest that you've had. So with that, I'll just sort of leave it to you guys, but whoever wants to wake up and head down in the morning or do whatever you want to do. For a night's rest, you're going to heal 1/2 of your maximum hit points. So if you haven't done that, do that. All of your spells, everything like that is refreshed, your normal full rest. And you're going to heal or return 1d3 plus 1 endurance points up to your maximum, which would be, I believe it was half of your healing rate. And any bonuses that you got from leveling up to 4th would have come into play, like extra spells or any of that stuff as well.
Is it half of your original healing rate or half of your current healing rate?
Half of your current healing rate.
Okay.
All right, yeah, looks like everything's pretty much covered fairly easy. So as you guys wake up in the morning, each in your own respective rooms or outside or wherever it is you decided to crash for the evening. Perhaps Mornak, you're still sitting in your chair, a couple empty wine bottles around your feet, looking into the smoldering remains of a fireplace. Outside still looks as bleak as ever, this dark, purplish sort of cloud-covered skies. You can hear the rain just pouring down on this old rooftop above you. Every now and then a drip seems to seep through and spatter on the floor near your bed or near your chair. Outside, quick glance will still show a few of these bodies of the forest folk that you've killed, though the winery workers, the Mardikovs, have gathered up most of them that are there, and it looks like they're planning to burn the bodies in the field. They're all sort of piled atop one another, stripped of whatever goods they might have had. You can hear voices that comes from the kitchen area, down below the rooms or inside the winery, wherever you are. Seems to have a bit of an argument. You can hear Stefania mention something about they must know what is happening. If they wish to help us, then we can't refuse such an offer, Father. And you'll hear this old man. He says, "No, absolutely not. They are outsiders. They are not from us. They are not family. They have no rights to know anything. We will keep it hush." What do you guys do?
Did we get any fortune points?
No.
No.
Not in a session.
What about endurance points?
Yep, 1d3 plus 1 for a full rest, up to 1/2 of your healing rate.
So I'm still kind of dumbfounded and shocked. I'm not really registering a whole lot. I'm sitting at the table just with a glass of drink in his hand, just kind of staring out the window.
So I'm actually gonna say that Victor comes down the stairs at this point, like, because he's been by himself, and when he comes down and he's his normal, happy, cheery self, but when you guys look at him, he is literally bleeding from his eyes, from his nose, from his ears, from his mouth. Like, he's just bleeding everywhere. It looks like someone literally took a baseball bat and just started pounding his face, with just how much blood's there, but there's no bruising or anything like that. And he just comes and he sits down all normal. It's like, "Good morning, everyone." And he's just starts going at eating breakfast.
Do you need a napkin for that, Victor?
For what?
Your bleeding eyes and nose and ears.
Oh, and he reaches up and he's like, "Well, this is new." Well, and he grabs, a tissue or a napkin or anything that's close by, even his arm sleeve. He'll wipe off his face and he's all clean for 5 seconds, and then he just starts bleeding from all his orifices again. And you also notice, if you look at his eyes are a bit blacker than normal. There's no white. You know how normally you see, the whiteness, it's not so much white anymore. It's more like a gray.
Might need to get something to cover over that. Otherwise, we'll be rejected from all the social circles in town.
I think I'm not sure we would be invited to too many of those anyways.
With that, Mornak's going to wake up, and he's got his bark on his skin that he got last time, covering his hands. But then he also has like 5 new eyeballs that are all over his face. And they're all looking in different directions. Hello, boys. Did you bring
You
me
guys know
something
the
else to
scene.
drink?
Oh, I think I might need a drink myself.
Wow.
Austin Powers. Yeah, that's it. Austin Powers. One of the Austin Powers movies where it's got the mole, and he kept freaking out, going "moly, moly, moly." I think that's what Victor would be doing here, but not necessarily screaming anything. He would just be like trying to touch one of your eyeballs, like whichever one is closest to him. He'd be sitting there like trying to like. He'd be just fascinated.
I think Mud will probably just stop at the stairs. All this.
On the bright side, we could probably make a fortune in the circus.
What are you talking about? I'm perfectly normal.
I know you're perfectly normal. I understand that perfectly. Aye, Captain Norman.
Do we still have the staff? I forget, or was that destroyed?
The what?
No, I cut
Yeah.
it in half.
Yeah, it's Victor destroyed it.
Seeing, what had happened with the staff and what's going on with Victor and Mordak, can I make a roll to see if I know anything about this through my religious profession? Or is this some kind of curse?
Okay. Yeah, why don't you give me a intellect in that case? Give yourself a boon with your religious.
18 total.
It seems to be. It's hard to say if it's an actual curse. You're not really sure, but it definitely seems to be coming from this land. It seems to be twisting, and you'll notice with Vasily as well. His horns are a bit more spiked and sharpened around the edges, and it seems almost like this land or whatever it is around you isn't really cursing, but it's slowly turning people into these abominations almost. You'll notice it amongst other people in towns and stuff. Some of them are really pale or squalid, and everybody just seems a little off. And it seems to be, your friends are starting to succumb to that a bit.
Should probably explain why I look a little bit more gray than normal, or that could just be the nearly dying multiple times.
It would be Dre would come down beside you a few moments later. Mud sort of past you. He'll offer his morning smile, his normal self, but you'll see that instead of taking a seat at the bar, he'll move over and he picks through the garbage a bit, and pulls out what looks to be maybe some old bits of meat and stuff that the druids threw in there, puts it on a small little platter on the table and sits down and begins to eat.
I actually don't judge that one too harshly.
He's actually going to be like still fascinated with Mornak and be like, so can you like see out of each one of these? Like, is your perception better? Like, oh, what about your like side vision thingy-mabobber that people have? Like, can you see like everywhere now? Just
No, I
kind of
can't
being a
see out of
nuisance,
these
almost
eyes.
like a little child.
I can't see out of these eyes.
Well, that's a bummer.
What's the fun in that?
You'll notice that, though, Victor. They all do turn to stare at you, just staring, unblinking at you. All these eyes on his body.
I think I would probably play with that. Like, start like. Go ahead.
I said, Mud will just sit down and watch as this happens, and just this is quite unsettling.
But yeah, I think Victor will sit there and play with that and like try to like basically do peekaboo and like hide himself and do all sorts of things with these eyes to see if they keep watching him.
Yeah, they would watch you, but they would seem to, focus on others as well. Seems as they sort of pass around all of you, and Mornak is speaking or chatting with all of you, they'll almost like they study or carefully watch you, as if these eyes are judging you all. Gives it 15, 20 minutes as you all have a bit of food. Those are just basic grits and some jerky and fresh fruit, mostly grapes that are on the table. But you'll see Stefania come through and she'll stop. I was afraid of this. She'll gather up a few things on her plate as well and take a seat at this sort of round table that you're at. I suppose you might have a lot of questions. Let me apologize. I never intended to bring you into this. It was our fight, not yours, but I'm thankful nonetheless that you helped us rid these barbaric forest folk from our winery. I will pay you with what we have. We never charge for our drink. It's something we offer the people of the land, but that is no more, of course. But still, I wish to help in any way that I can.
Why is that no more? Mud will say to her, why is that no more? But I don't think he looks at her or even makes eye contact. He'll kind of just be having his head down with her right now.
And what does he ask her?
When she says that they're not providing wine anymore, he goes, why is that?
She picks a couple of pieces of cheese on her plate, never really even looking at you. And when you ask that, she stares down at her plate, really not looking at any of you. I'm sorry, I'm not at liberty to talk of such things. I hope you understand.
We each nearly died clearing this place out, and you're going to tell us you're not at liberty. And he'll start to get a little bit more of a growl to his voice towards the end there.
It is not my position, Mud. You must understand. I don't know much of your kind, but certainly you must have had people of importance above you, right? And they dictate what others would know. That's just where I stand, Mud. I wish I could tell you. I believe that we should, and I believe that you helped us out of kindness and goodness, something that is not in these lands anymore. But I am sorry, I'm not at liberty to do so. Would forsake my family.
So I know I'm a bit late to this party, but I thought you were the owner of this vineyard.
I married into the family. My husband, Adrian, is a Matakov. The old man, Davian, is the owner or the patriarch of the family of the winery. His children, Adrian, Erwin, Dragon, the three of them are the owners. I simply have stake, I suppose, but I don't own it.
Who was the guy who sent us here?
Erwin.
Ah.
He's the one who runs the Blue Water Inn.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, not sure if you caught on, but he's the son of the guy that whacked me in the head with a stick.
Yeah, that's he never said that to us before.
Mm-hmm.
No, he didn't mention it, but like.
Now that she mentions, you would all notice, at least between the old man and Erwin, a fair bit of resemblance. But all of you would have seen Adrian briefly as he was basically crushed by half a barrel and bloodied up and everything. So you didn't really get a good look at him. And whoever this dragoon is, you have not met. But you'll notice definitely resemblance between the old man and Erwin.
Well,
Both are sort of.
Dragoon wasn't Drag, right?
No, he is not.
Okay.
Drag is actually going to be the son of Dragoon, but
Gotcha. Well, if Davian's the one we need to speak to, since Erwin sent us here without telling us the whole story, and Adrian is unavailable.
says my husband is feeling a bit better. I could fetch him if you wish to talk to him. Davian is she'll look around, so lean forward. He's a bit of an ornery old man. He's stuck in his ways. You must understand he doesn't mean any harm, but he's quite blunt, and many figure he's rude, but that is just his way. If you wish to speak with him, he's in the kitchen now, but be careful of his staff.
What's the matter with his staff?
She'll glance at Victor. He just likes to swat people with it.
I wonder if the town is still standing, or if it's been ransacked and destroyed and it's a smoldering, burning wreck. Maybe we should go back and check on that.
What town did you come from?
What was that town?
Valakai. We came
Yeah,
from
that
Yes, good old Valakai.
us without telling us that he was part of this place.
That seems
Oh,
about
and
right.
weren't we going to go kill your mother? Warnak, weren't we going to kill your mother?
Completely,
Yes, that's part of the plan.
completely Randall.
Well, I mean, that's Victor. He is the random person.
Ornak just kind of puts his hand on his face, accidentally covers up one of the eyes, almost pokes it. And then he's like, well, I wanted to get more powerful before I dealt with her, and I feel more powerful. So let's do it.
No offense, you don't look more powerful.
Those eyes shoot
You
death
just
rays.
look like you could see more, but I don't know about more power.
If you're not seeing through those eyes, who is?
Jack.
Stefano, shake your head. No. The land here, it has a way with people. Twists them, corrupts them. Nobody really knows who or what. Of course, many assume it's the devil. But no, even he is at the mercy of the land. You've been touched by it. Your soul has been tainted. Yours too, Vasily.
Strange,
Victor.
I don't feel tainted.
It's not a feeling, it's a darkness in your soul.
My forked tongue flicks out of my mouth. Was your mother...
Good.
I turn to Mornak. Was your mother one of those pie hags in the windmill?
Well, she was certainly a hag, so very likely.
Does, when they mention this, Stefania look over you, Mornak. Mother, you know the hag. Is that what you're saying?
She kidnapped me and kept me prisoner for a century.
Do you speak of Baba Saga?
I can't remember her name.
She's a hag we've dealt with before. If it is, she always calls herself Mother. Old, wretched creature.
Where is she? I need to kill her.
She'll stand up and I'm not at liberty to say. And with that, she'll turn and sort of makes haste towards the kitchen area and shuts the door behind her.
I'm going to be right behind her. Once she says that she's not at liberty to stay again, I'm going to be following behind her. Because Davian's in the kitchen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to be heading that way.
I follow right behind. If I see everybody get up and leave, my eyes just follows. I just instinctively just follow right behind.
Yeah,
Well,
get up.
Victor's gonna stay and finish eating because he's hungry. Like, he feels a lot weak, losing all this blood, so he's just gonna keep eating at the table. So
Mornak will follow.
Yeah, she'll get up and not really noticing that you're following Mud. Quickly go through the kitchen and shut the door behind her. She doesn't lock it or anything, so as she gets in a few feet is when you would sort of get to that door and swing it open. You can see that she's just preparing to say something. Both Adrian and Davian stand there. Actually, Vasily and Mornak, both of you give me a perception challenge roll.
Perception challenge.
As soon as you look at him, Mud, again, like, you know this guy.
8.
9.
That's a fail.
Yeah, both of you look over, and Adrian looks familiar to the two of you too, but then again, a lot of these people around here tend to look alike.
Yeah, let me ask you something. Mud failed his roll. Does Adrian happen to have, like, swoops of white in his hair?
He does not. I will put
Okay.
a picture of him over into the chat here. And actually, why don't you go ahead and give me a perception roll again then, Mud, and see.
12.
As soon as you look on him again, that's sort of looks familiar. It's mustache, but he has quite a wide smile. He's bandaged up a bit now and stands there in front of you. And yeah, Mud, you remember, you stand there for a moment and you get this vision of yourself sort of deja vu like, and the memory sinks in. You remember being in a tavern with this fellow, of him telling you how fast he could run and that he would lead you all to safety.
Old Bester.
Old Bester.
Wasn't he a little baby, though? Little baby boy?
He was younger, but...
Oh, okay. I thought he was like 9 or 10 years
Oh, no. He had the mentality of a 9 or 10-year-old.
Oh, okay.
But he was in probably his upper 20s.
Does he show any sort of recognition towards us?
Not at all, no. Besides, I mean, he's seen you when you saved his life kind of thing, but not. And I guess as you sort of look at this, Vasily and Morn, it could take you guys a few minutes more to really remember, kind of lingers there for a bit, but you'll be able to eventually connect the dots as you start to talk to him. But he seems to be in mid-sentence, and Stefania will turn to look at the door as you come through. Davian, who stands there hunched over, and Adrian, they'll all just sort of turn and look to the three of you that come through the door. Davian will prop himself up. Well, he comes through the door in a rush. What's your hurry?
We came and cleared this place out, and we just keep being told that we can't be given information. It's one thing about the future of the winery, but when being questioned about Baba Lasaga, we're being told the same thing.
Well, what do you want to know?
What is going on here?
Look around, can't you tell? We were ransacked by the forest folk. They came in, attacked us, took our stuff, destroyed our vine. What else do you need to know?
Why? Why did they attack here?
Because they're forest folk. That is what they do. Destroy towns, steal things, cast the rituals, ride around on trees. Who knows? They're a bunch of tree huggers anyway. Perhaps they like our wine. You know what I think it is? I think they were jealous. They wanted the wine for themselves. Everybody else gets a taste, but not them. They did it to spite us. To take what's good this land has and take it away from the people. Just like their patron.
While he's talking, I'm just watching his mannerisms and everything, trying to determine if I think he's telling the truth or not.
Give me a perception roll. I'll give you a boon on that too.
That would be a total of 13.
He seems to be at least telling the truth, but he's definitely withholding or not really saying everything. You'll see he sort of glances around a little bit at both Adrian and Stefania, occasionally fidgets with the knobs on his staff.
So who is this Baba to you? And this place and this land?
Old Baba Lysaga. The old wench that calls herself mother. An old hag that lives into the forests to the west. She terrorizes the people. She leads a coven. The old bone grinder windmill.
Ah, he is the pie hag.
Well, she's their leader, I guess you'd call it. Not really sure what hags call themselves, but they all are sisters. The three of them in the windmill and her in her hut to the west. I don't think she has much to do with the old pie-making business herself anymore, but they certainly are in league. She too tried to destroy us once, came through, crushing our vines, but we regrew. Hatred was in her heart, of course. She too wished to spite the people, wished to destroy the winery. Anything good, this winery, happiness, it is all crushed in these lands. I think that answers your questions, no?
I think she's the devil, isn't she?
No. Old Baba Saga, she is not the devil. Oh, no. She's the mother.
I'm going to look towards Stefania. Such simple answers. I don't understand why we had to go through such trouble to get them. What else are you hiding from me?
We have nothing to hide from you, as
I just put my hand up when he starts because I'm talking to Stefania. Oh, or was that Stefania talking?
Oh, no, that was him.
Okay, I put my hand up just staring at Stefania.
She presses her lips together. You can see her eyes look from Davian then to Adrian. See, he pulls himself up from the stool that he's in and puts his hands up. I know, friends, that you're put in a difficult situation. You must forgive my father. He's old. Davian, you can see he lifts his staff to crack old Adrian on the head a bit, and he just puts his hand up. He says, please forgive us for being tight-lipped, but I think you can all agree that family comes before anybody, and that is what we have here to give out information of us and who we are and what we do, and the winery. It puts a danger in us all. I really can't say anything more than that. We only wish to help the people, but we do that through a cover of our own.
Your brother sent us here. You live because he sent us here.
Davian will look over. Erwin, he sent you? That bastard son. You know, it's his fault this all happened. All of this. And Adrian, no, father, it's not his. You see Davian sort of whack Adrian on the shoulder. He says, yes. If the bastard was on his watch, then it wouldn't have been happened. It wouldn't have. You can tell Erwin to shove it up his ass. That is what I say. Shove it up his ass.
What wouldn't have happened, Davian?
It is not your business. Warrior men. He'll turn, sort of fidgeting on the counter with a couple coins. Says, you can tell Erwin that we didn't need his help. We didn't need your help anyway. We had it under control. I will give you a few barrels of wine and you can take it back, but tell him not to bother us again.
Yeah, so you had it well under control as those barrels were bouncing off all of you down in the basement.
Yeah. You can shove it up your ass too, goat boy. And you can see he turns and starts to walk away and head out the door. They don't need to know anything. You guys, you all should be gone to buy lunch. You do not welcome here.
As he starts walking away, I'm going to ask Adrian, which of you is the eldest?
He watches as Davian starts to leave and just shakes his head.
Mornak's going to follow Davian, and I want to go ahead and cast Share Thoughts so that I can read his mind.
Okay.
And I'm just going to attempt to draw out whatever the truth is that he's hiding.
Yeah, he'll step through a doorway, and you can see it leads into like a little side office or something. And he does not fully shut the door, but he kind of lets it swing closed a little bit as he goes and sits down. So he could even be in this little kitchen area. You don't actually have to follow him to be within range, Mornak.
Okay.
As you focus on him, but Adrian will look. Erwin is the oldest of the brothers. I second, and Dragoon is the third youngest. He is currently en route to Kresk. He had a small delivery to do there, and I fear we have not heard from him. I'm not sure where he is. It's been 8 days now. He should have been back yesterday, but given the situation, I'm not sure.
Why wouldn't Erwin tell us everything when he sent us here?
Erwin and father, they don't get along very well. He probably... And he'll look over his shoulder, over at his father, and sort of lean in close a little bit, but he too, like father, tends to keep things tight-lipped. He's not a man of many words. A good man, of course, and he wishes to help, but he's much like father. The two of them, both stubborn, thick-headed. You could see how they could clash. As you stand there and you folk are talking with Adrian, Mornak, as you listen into this man's thoughts, you can see that he's staring down at the list of papers, and he's almost mindlessly flipping through them. His mind is oddly blank, Mornak. It's nothing you've come across before, but it seems as if he's not really thinking of anything. You can see, not necessarily through his eyes, but sort of through his mind's eye, as he's counting up some numbers, and he seems to be looking at a travel route. You'll get that it's from Dragoon. He seems a little bit worried about that, but yeah, he doesn't really seem to. It's almost as if he's just completely cleared his mind. Something that somebody definitely very well trained or a very nirvana sense of state would be able to do. You might be able to, but it'd have to be somebody like yourself with power of the mind and such. He doesn't seem to notice you're doing it, but it's almost like you're shielded a little bit.
All right. Mornak will go ahead and break the connection with him. And then he's going to try the same thing with Sephrina.
Stefania. So just as you break that connection, you will, like this vision, this mind's eye that you have, it just seems to sort of explode in blackness, but it's very soft feeling. You get a very comfortable sense about it. Just sort of snap this over and look at Stefania. It's just a whirlwind of thoughts of, it's almost like she wants to say something but is afraid to. Not afraid physically or like she'd be hurt, but more of a feeling of being left out, or a feeling that she would be dishonoring her family by stating whatever it is that's on her mind. Give me I'm going to say a will challenge roll with one bane, Mornak. See if you can dig deep in there and see what it is she's...
Not with that roll. That's going to be 6.
And she'll look over at you, Mornak, and she doesn't seem to notice what you're doing or anything, but she does lock eyes with multiple eyes for the moment. And the two of you stare back at one another, and she looks at you, you can see her corners of her mouth turn up a little bit. And then you're just greeted with this picture of this old, wretched, dead tree sitting atop a hill. It looks dead, like a massive oak tree that's been dead for centuries, and it just drips with this black ichor and gore. And you can see a small girl, raven-haired, kind of like herself, running across this field and digging at the base of this tree, as if for something. And she stares back at you, and she sort of nods before looking away and staring at the others. Adrian will look over his shoulders at Davian that's in the room. You can see this old man still mumbling to himself, bitching about Irwin and how he fell asleep and it's his fault that this happened. And Adrian will look over him. Well, I think it'd be best if you were to be gone soon. Perhaps me and Stefania can walk you out. And he'll sort of nod his head towards the door.
And out we go.
I'm actually, as we turn to walk out, I'm going to keep a close eye on Adrian and say, I hope following you works out better this time, Bester.
You will.
And see if I get any reaction from either Adrian or Stefania.
Yeah, he'll look over and then... Don't think you followed me before. The name is Adrian, by the way. Perhaps you misheard. Adrian Martikov. Says, but yes, let's have a walk, friend.
We need a couple cases of your wine to take back to Irwin.
Yes.
And perhaps one for myself.
That is fair enough. Says there's 3 casks downstairs, 3 on the wagon now. Says we'll use the last few casks to divvy up what we can. You can have the ones on the wagon. And he'll look over and call for a couple others to gather up the wagon and bring it around. He'll say, it is at least we can do, and if you take it back to Irwin, he will thank you handsomely. I don't know if money is of importance, or perhaps simple friendship or helping out the town. If there is any help for Valakai, of course. But yes, the wine is yours, friends. And he'll actually sort of nod and thank you very, very much. I hope that you will follow us outside and have a few last words. And he'll look over and we are sending them on their way, Father. And you'll see Davian just sort of wave in the corner. Yes, whatever. Tell them they did a good job and be gone from this place. He'll stand up, walk over, and sort of slam the door, this old man. Adrian and Stefania will lead all of you back outside.
Victor, Dre, time to move on.
You can see Dre as he looks up from his plate, mostly cleaned now. Looks to be the last bits of a rat tail in his mouth that he kind of slurps up like a noodle, crunches down as he gathers up his things and follows behind, along with Victor.
Yeah. Victor's gonna be like still having food in his mouth, like be grabbing more food and like stuffing them into his pockets, and then grab his stuff and kind of walk out, still munching, like, but it's still bleeding all over the place.
Is Dre, what species is Dre or his ancestry?
He is human.
He's human. Okay.
Yep.
Ornak's going to try to get close to Vasily and whisper to him. He's going to go, the one brother's mind was blank. And this woman, Safrina, whatever, her mind is filled with chaos. But just on the edge of it, she wants to tell us what's going on. This place is very weird.
It's best to get out of here then. We're probably the most normal ones here.
With that, all my eyes just start going different directions.
Thank you. I was hoping you would say that.
I kind of want to say you guys looked at Victor as well, and like he's just continually bleeding from his face, munching on food. And
Quite a
if
show
he
anymore.
notice you guys looking at him, he'll just smile.
Before we go into town, we might need to get some hoods or something for the two of you.
Well, I mean, I can't do anything about the eyes, but I'll reach over and try to do like a healing touch on Victor, like just kind of Andre the Giant style, put my hand over his face. I don't know if it'll do anything, but in case he needs more healing, too, 5 points.
Does that work on somebody with corruption?
Oh, God, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's right. The cleric cannot heal anybody anymore.
I kind of want to say, I kind of want to say he starts bleeding even worse, like out of the eyes and whatnot. And Victor's like, "Oh, thank you. Oh, I feel so much better." In like, it's just getting worse all over his face.
Got little bloody icicles hanging off of him.
Yeah, I literally cannot heal anybody in our group anymore.
I think wasn't it?
Dre does not have any
There was
corruption yet.
someone else that you can. Yeah, Dre.
Dre, okay.
He just has a lot of insanity. But yeah, this couple would lead you outside. And you can see the others are starting to bring around the horse, and it has 3 large casks on 55-gallon drums strapped to the back of this small wagon, led by 2 horses. Plenty of room in the wagon and up in the front for you all to sit within it. And Adrian will take a seat on a bench outside. Stefani sort of stands sort of at his shoulder a little bit as he stares at the ground for a few minutes and scuffs a few bits of dirt.
Adrian, there's something I don't understand.
What is it, my friend?
If they just wanted to stop the wine from going out, why not just destroy the vineyards?
It's not that easy. The Wizard of Wine's winery has been in the family for generations. It was first opened by a family by the name of Kreskov. That was nearly 800 years ago, long before the devil ever showed his face here. The Martikovs, they married into the Kreskovs, and through the years, through the generations, they split apart. The Kreskovs headed further west to the town of Kresk. And we here, the Martikovs, stayed tending to the vineyard, growing the grapes, crushing, mashing, producing the winery. But when the devil came, darkness settled. Then, like everything else, like plants are, they do not grow in the darkness. It says, but our vineyard, it still grew. It was a light in the darkness. It was a beacon of hope for the people. Sure, it may only be simple wine, but it is the only wine. It's the only wine that people know. So for the locals, for the people of Barovia, it is the best. It gives them hope. It gives them a way to wash away, to drink away the horrors, the madness. And he'll look at Victor's bleeding face, Mornek's eyes, a way to drink away the corruption. It says, the forest folk, the hags, the devil, they are all just blights on the land. They wish to squash, they wish to destroy anything that gives the people hope. And the one thing that does give them hope, this vineyard, seems they have achieved their goal, destroyed it. And he'll sort of look around. You can see all the vineyards, all the vines. It seemed yesterday some of it was decaying and drying up. Other ones looked okay. But yeah, this whole place seems to be just dying off within a matter of hours, overnight. They took the one thing that kept it alive and destroyed it. Who knows what they've done? I fear for the people of the lands and what this means.
I have no idea what that one thing was that they took.
So, why don't you tell me about yourselves? Who are you? And you say my brother sent you. He wouldn't send just anybody. He must know something. Something that we here don't. Something that I don't. My father doesn't see. What did he see in you? Sends you here.
So, actually, on that, I will pull out a small ragged book from one of my pouches and pull out the swashbuckler and the druid cards that did belong to Vasily and actually go to hand them back to him and tap on the druid card as I do and turn it towards Adrian. Madam Eva, druids came up in our reading.
So you met with Madam Eva. I've never met her myself, but I've heard stories. He'll look over his shoulder at Stefania. It seems there's sort of a connection between the two, and he looks back and says, I've heard that she's a strange old woman. A bit puzzling, perhaps, or cryptic. What did she tell you?
Many things, and with that, he'll pull the third card out from his book and flip it around. Because I watched Adrian turn into a raven, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually my raven card. And I will tell him, I was told the raven will guide us.
You show him a card, he'll stand up sort of in a bit of a hurry. You can see he reaches out, his hand trembling a little bit. Can I see the card? And he sort of holds his hands out. He doesn't try to snatch it or anything. But
and as I reach, I'll say, I was told the raven would help me, and a raven-haired woman, and I'll look at Stefania as I hand him the card.
Looks at it, it's beaten and weathered. after years in your pockets and book. Looks at this. He hands it to Stefania. She looks at it for a few, and you see again the corners of her mouth turn up a little bit, a bit of a smile. She'll look. Will you give me just a moment with this, Mud? I'll be back in just a moment. And she'll turn and start walking around the corner of the building. Adrian will sort of look and she says, she'll be back in a moment.
Where is she going?
She has something to show you.
Well, shouldn't we go with her?
No, she'll be back.
I hope she brings back Mud's card. She's not trying to abscond with it.
A few moments pass. You can see the other folk of the winery have got the wagon all loaded up and they pull it over to drop it off. The winery strapped in. There's going to be 2 barrels of grape mash, 39, and 1 of red dragon crush. And this older couple, as he loaded up, will offer you a bit of a smile as they just kind of head back into the building. And Adrian will look at those. Yes, these should do when well. He will. Well, I hope he takes care of them and pushes it the best he can. The people of Valakai could use a pick-me-up, I guess you could say. And as he says that, he'll look up, and behind him on the roof, you all follow his gaze. There's a raven there with white-tipped wings. In her beak is a card. It lets it drop to the ground, and you can see it's your raven card, Mud.
I turn to Vasily, Victor, and Mornak. Dre doesn't really know much about but it can't be a coincidence. The 3 cards I held in my possession, 2 of which were Vasily's, were the Swashbuckler and Jack showing up here, the Druids, and the Raven.
It can't be coincidence.
I feel like we're involved in a giant game of chess and we're the pawns.
Adrian nods. Yes. That is what the devil does. He brings in pawns, plays with them until he's ready to, checkmate them.
Well, another way of looking at it, you know what happens to the pawns when they get to the opposite side of the board? They turn into the most powerful pieces on the board. That is my intent.
By the hag who kidnapped me and these eyes that I've got, I swear I will kill the devil for this.
Kill the devil, eh? What about you, Mud, Victor? Do you want to kill the devil? What stake do you have in this? You see this bird, with white-tipped wings, flap down and land on the bench beside him. It cocks its head a little bit, staring at all of you.
Victor's been listening, but he's just gonna be like, "Ooh, hello," and he's gonna actually go up to the bird and reach in his pack and pull out some food and be like, "Here you go." Not even putting 2 and 2 together that this is that woman. And he will say, "Well, if that's what my friends wants to do, then I will gladly fight by their side."
I think after he asked if anybody took notice, Mud's kind of looking over his shoulder. Yes, I plan to kill the devil. I believe that's why I'm here. And Mud will go over and get his card back. The dirt where it dropped.
Pick it up. And it seems almost in a blink you all look over at Mud as he's picking up this card. When you look back, Stefania is sitting on the bench beside Adrian. This Raven no longer there. You still see the whites or the grays on the side of her hair. Says, well, that's a bit sums up what we know. Says, as far as I'm concerned, we didn't tell you anything.
Except, what was it that they took that's causing this land to now die?
Adrian will dig a piece of paper out of his pocket and folds it up and hands it over to you, Vasily. He says, here, I can't tell you. You must understand I'm not at such liberty. My father will skewer us all. Well, not truly, but he would disown us all. Take this back to Erwin, I believe. There, with the wine, with this letter, he'll be able to answer your questions further.
I open the letter and look at it. What does it have on?
I'll give you a chance. Give me an intellect challenge roll, but at 3 Banes.
Vasily's got no chill. He's just
Intellect is +3. Oh no, that's a 7.
It is written in a different language. You can pick out a few words here and there, but it seems to be some sort of basically like a confirmation letter sort of thing. That's by giving it over to Erwin, he is at liberty to tell answer the questions that you might have. But exactly what it says, you're not quite sure. It's sort of cryptic in its writing. It's not normal letters and stuff for the most part that you can see.
So it's like a code, a cipher
Yeah.
of some sort. Okay. Well, I fold it up and put it in my pocket.
He says, Erwin will be willing to answer most of your questions, I believe. And if everything goes well, we will be still here. Perhaps we can figure out something to save the winery.
Who is your comrade who has gone to another town and has disappeared?
My brother, Dragoon, his wife as well, Cortina. The 2 of them left for Krask. They should have arrived back yesterday, but I fear they were either intercepted on their way or on their way back. One of the 2, for he is never late. If anything, he's early. He drives like a bat out of hell.
We will try to keep an eye for him. And one last question before we get going. Tell me more of where I can find this bone grinder.
The old bone grinder. He'll describe it and mention it, but you would have passed by it, all of you, as you were headed from the town of Barovia to Valakai, an old windmill that was off the main path.
Gotcha.
This is the coven, the 3 hags there, led by Baba Lysaga to the west, but she has her own hut. As I understand that.
Well, don't forget. I was just going to throw in that's where we all got feared and ran away from. I think everyone but one of us got feared, and we ran from that place.
That was the church.
Yeah, I think I rolled like a 0.
Oh yeah, that was the other.
Oh, I thought it was the windmill that we ran away from.
That gave you a really sickening feeling to your stomach, more so Mornek than any. But yeah, the church is what scared everybody away.
Okay.
Stefan, you'll stand up and at least stand, and face you, Mud. And says, I'm sorry that I didn't mean to lead you on or make you think otherwise, but I truly appreciate everything you've done, Mud.
Bud will actually just laugh about that.
Says, if it makes a difference, you can count on me to at least be somewhere, always around watching. That is what
Always?
So we will certainly meet again. If not just me, then my family as well. You, Devian will calm down at some point. I trust that. He always does. He always does. If you need a place to stay, you're always welcome here. All of you. And like Adrian said, a bit of wine would do you good. It is one of the few things that washes away the corruption.
That sounded like a hint to me.
Mornak's going to move towards the cart and start looking at how to uncork these barrels.
They have not been tapped at all or anything, so you'd need like the whole spigot and hammer and all the good stuff to actually cork them. They're all sealed up nice and tight otherwise. I mean, if you want a couple bottles or something, they'll certainly toss some in for you.
Yeah, he wants some bottles, and he's going to just uncork it and just put one back and drink like a quarter of the bottle all in one drink.
Certainly the best wine you've had in a few days, at least. But it washes down easily, and Stefani will smile and give you a little bit of a nod, Mornak. And, well, with that, I trust you all to have a safe trip back. You may wish to head out soon. You should be able to reach Valakai by late afternoon before the darkness settles. Is there anything else we can help you with?
Do you have a cloak?
Just basic clothes? Certainly. Do you need one?
One for myself and one for Victor.
Certainly. You can see Stefani heads inside to go gather those up. And returns a few minutes later with just your basic cloaks, nothing fancy.
Mornak will whip it up and throw the hood over his face to try and hide all his eyeballs.
Says, I see what you mean now. Says, you don't need to worry too much. Sure, it's a bit frightening, of course, but the people of Barovia, they've seen worse. They've seen worse. With that, she'll take a seat back on the bench. You can see Adrian is sat back down now too, sort of favoring his arm that's bashed up a little bit. Well then, you give that letter to Erwin. I believe he can fill in some of the finer details. And if all goes well, my friends, he will lead you to what you're looking for. And thus, we'll be right behind you to meet you again. You have our thanks. You have our support. Whatever that means. He'll just smile.
Well, let's leave. Bye. I'm eager to leave.
As you guys gather up all your stuff, throw it into the back of this wagon. You start heading down the path away from the Wizard of Wine's winery. You can see, as you look over your shoulders, moving down the path out to the main Svalich Road, the three main fields of the winery. One is just completely decayed, dead, covered in a thick fog. The other two look to be in a state of decay. The fog not quite as thick there, but it's only a matter of time before it's all dead. Grapes, nothing left. Even the building itself seems a little less stable, a little old, a little more weathered, a little more weakened to the fog. Out to the main road, and as you reach the end of this path, you can see the sign to the right would lead you to Kresk. It looks like it's a good 70 plus miles out, good long ways. But the town of Valakai is only a handful. Should be able to reach it by evening.
To Valakai.
So Really quick though, did they load up the wagon that we brought with us, or did they load up a different wagon? Because we did come
Yeah,
out on
you
a
came
wagon
with yours.
ourselves.
They wouldn't want to get rid of theirs, so they would have loaded yours up. Probably your horses as well, because your horses didn't die. So, yeah, they would have loaded up your horse and
Okay.
wagon. No,
Oh, good. Now we can keep our promise to Goober about his horses.
well, you're not at Valakai yet, are you?
Well, hey, this is in Victor's mind, not mine. This is in Victor's mind.
Let us see. I need somebody to roll me a 1d20. Let's see what we got here.
11.
Oh,
11.
maybe into it.
Do.
There's 11 bears.
Oh, no.
Dire bears.
But
Interesting.
they're only like 2 feet tall.
All right. In that case, Victor, give me a 1d4 since he beat you to the 20.
Sure. I have to go find a D4 because I wasn't expecting to roll anything other than a
Oh,
D20.
yeah, that's true.
Which I do have a stack of dice right here. If I
Didn't
can
even
find
think
my
about that because
D4.
I'm pulling from the actual module.
There it is. 1.
All right. So as you all turn onto this old farthest road, following the path back towards Valakai, it's all the same familiar scenery. Tall, thick pine trees, the occasional scurrying of rats and other rodents across the path ahead, howls echoing in the distance here and there. But you will all notice over the next couple of hours as you head back to Valakai, as a large flock of ravens seems to follow behind, skipping from trees to trees, always a fair distance behind you, but seeming to almost watch over you on your path back. And if you look close enough, Mud, you'll certainly see one with white-tipped wings that seems to be leading them all.
Is that
Otherwise-
bird lady?
So, really quick. Yeah, really quick. Does Dre drool at the sign of the rats is my question. And then also, like, if anyone has their bags open or near Victor, he's going to, like, kind of scrounge through them, find any kind of food and any food he has on him and start throwing them out to the birds. Or to the ravens, sorry. Not like all of it, mind you, just morsels here and there.
Dre's got a full stomach at the time being, so he probably wouldn't drool too much, but you can see his eyes watch them.
Okay, so he does take notice of the rats, though.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, your trip back is pretty much uneventful. Besides
On the way
the
back, I'm sitting there. Dragoon. Was that the name of her brother?
The one that went to Kresk, yes.
And his life went along with him? Is that what they said?
Yes, that's correct.
I'm curious about this. I sit down cross-legged inside of the wagon. I slam my book open, and I pull out that deck of cards that I got from Madame Eva, and I just start spinning the cards around my hand, and I burn one of my castings of, what is it? Of Grave Grasp, and I'm going to cast Augur from my grimoire. So the cards, they just start spinning around in my hand, just like all of them, like they're shuffling each other. And I'm just going to ask the spirits, is Dragoon and his wife still alive and well?
let's see. These cards will
It's just to answer a yes or no question.
come to a stop spinning. You can see a pile of them sort of fall from your fingertips, landing. One of them is face up. Takes you a moment to stare down at it. But you'll see that it is the picture of the horseman. This skeletal looking figure, the top of decaying, rotting skeletal horse bloodied sword in hand.
I'll take that as a no.
Victor's
That is-
going to chime in and say, I think you did that wrong. That's not how they work. No, that's not what you're supposed to do. And if you'll let him, Victor will actually take the cards and like show you.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah,
These.
he'll actually. Yeah, and he'll like start like trying to educate you on how to do it. Like whether you care or not, he's going to tell you anyways.
You'll definitely get a no answer vibe from that.
Okay.
And
As I thought.
on the way back, Victor will educate you on the facts of the cards. Doesn't seem to be like he really knows what he's talking about, but it's entertaining nonetheless.
Keeps them from stealing our rations and feeding.
I would say probably about 30% of what he says is actually true, and then the rest is just like random information just jarbled in. Because you're just not 100% sure.
After careful study, Victor determines that they are definitely cards.
Well, I mean, he knows, like, he does have his own set of
Oh, that's
cards.
right.
So,
There are pictures on every one of them.
maybe at one point he did actually know all the rules, but now his mind is a little bit slipping.
What does Mud and Mornak do on the ride back? It's about 3.5 hours or so.
Mud is mostly just keeping an eye out and around, checking back, looking back at the Ravens every now and then, and kind of just Mud will be in the front and scanning the roadway ahead of us and all, make sure there's no trouble.
And how about Mornak? What do you do on this time as you wait to get back to Velikai?
Who is muted?
I'll see.
If he's even there. Oh, no, he did say BRB, so I don't know if he's back yet.
Oh, he may not be back. I'll assume he's sipping wine and trying to cleanse his corruption with the wine. It'll be about 2.5 hours, perhaps even almost 3. You can remember coming around this bend that you're at. It's only a short ways to Velikai down in the distance. And up ahead, Mud, you can hear it before you see it. But it's the sound of whimpering, of crying, what sounds like a child. And as the wagon comes around the corner, you can see her and her brother in the distance. 2 children, maybe the girl's maybe 9 or 10, the boy 6 or 7. And they sit on the side of the road, drab, muddy, dirty clothes. And the girl seems to be trying to comfort this small boy who's crying.
Make sure, kind of give a knock back on the cabin so everybody knows there's something going on. We have something up ahead.
As soon as I hear that, I quickly put a bolt in my crossbow and ready to.
I'll start slowing down as we approach them and kind of yell out, "Hello."
I'll say they're about 50, 60 feet out. You see the girl keeps her head sort of down, covered up, these rags around them, almost like they're cold. You can see that they're still sopping wet from the drizzle, the fog, and shivering a little bit. And she says, "Please, please, don't look at us. Just go. Just go. Do not look at us."
I look at them anyway.
Do you continue past with the wagon?
No, I think I'll draw the wagon to a stop and jump down, but not approach, probably, 10, 15 feet away.
Says, please, just go. Just go. I do not wish for you to see this. And the small boy that she's holding lets out a heavier whimper, and it's just, you can see his whole body just shaking under these rags that they're dressed in as he's sobbing.
I'm going to look off towards the fields all around, see if there's anything moving about.
Give me a perception. You got anything that would give you a boon?
I have Shepherd.
I think
I don't know. I don't think so.
Victor would be there with Vasily looking as well.
It's a 13 total for the perception.
All right. Go ahead and give me one as well, Victor.
I got a 15.
Look around, Vasily, and the fog here is pretty thick, and you don't really see anybody or anything odd as far as the land and stuff goes, but as you scan all the way around you, and then you look back at these two forms huddled on the side of the road, they're sort of in a little side road ditch, huddled down, covered in mud and leaves, and looks like they've been crawling through the gutter for quite a while. You can see just the like part of the forearm and the hand of the girl as it's wrapped around the smaller form of her brother in her hands. And every now and then you can see just a small little splash of blood across her arm, across her hand, like she's getting stabbed by pins and needles. And she'll turn her whole body facing away from all of you and says, please, just go.
Nonsense, child. Come. We have blankets on the cart. I can see you're freezing. And I'm probably moving closer.
And you can see that she's sort of huddles this body, this younger boy that's sobbing, to the side. You can see her hair first. It's very silky, white, almost haggled, looking like an old woman. As she turns, you can see the form of this young girl, probably 10 at most if you had to guess. And her face just contorts in this very wrinkled, undead, paler sort of look. And dust falls from where her eyes would be, and she screams, "Be gone." And she begins to yell. I need will challenge rolls from all of you.
I have a Bane on that.
Yes.
Oh, I still make it 13.
Don't forget to roll for Dre.
So Vasily made it Victor.
Victor got an epic and wonderful 3.
All right. Dre is good. And Mud?
8.
8.
6.
And Mornak is 7.
Oh, nice. Okay, so Mud, Victor, Mornak. The three of you can see this young girl, but she has the body of an old, wrinkled, haggard-looking woman. This white dust just pours forth from her eyes, and as she screams at you to be gone, her lower jaw will fall off, and it seems like her whole body just melts and falls apart. The skin rots off, and the bones fall to the ground, and they too just turn into this white powder. The small form of her brother is still covered in rags, just sobs even louder. Mud, Victor, and Mornak, you all will be feared. You basically have no desire but to get the hell out of here.
Does the small boy look like he's still alive?
Yes. You can't see him, but he's just covered in these muddy, dirty, disgusting rags, just sobbing.
Victor's going to immediately turn and get on the wagon. Not saying anything to anyone. He's just going to turn and get on the wagon.
Boy, can you hear me?
Doesn't answer, just sobs.
I'll get my staff out and I come over and I try to turn his face towards me with the end of my staff.
So you move some of these rags and sort of turn them around. The whole thing just crumples. It's just the bones of a young human lad, maybe 7 or 8, lying there. The sobbing stops, and you're just left with a pile of rags, pile of bones, and this white powder that seems to be drifting through the fog.
Mud, gather yourself. We need to bury these bones and you need to consecrate them.
The whole thing smells of very sweet and fruity, though.
Ornek's going to take one of his belt pouches and he's going to scoop up some of this powder and put it in it and close it off. This might be useful for something.
So there's no bones, it's just dust, right? There's no bones.
Well, the boys' bones are there, yes. But the girls just turned into powder.
I go over to the ditch and I'm just using my staff to try to dig some sort of deeper hole. And I'm going to, once I do that, I'm going to try to push the bones into it and cover them with dirt.
It would take you a good 10 minutes or so, but yeah, he could definitely dig out some of this earth and push the bones in and cover them up the best you can. Mud and Victor and Warnock, you guys just want to get the hell out of here. This almost nauseating fear that's sitting in the gut of your stomach.
I don't think we're safe here.
Mud. Ignore these bones. Let's get out of here.
Say your consecration prayer to your god, Mud, and we can leave. I more than anyone know what unconsecrated bones lying in the middle of a desolate road can mean.
I don't know if I can help this. Do I have enough to even try to do a passing prayer, or?
That is totally up to you.
Damn it. And Mud will steel himself and he'll lean over, kind of blocking the hole from sight of anybody. And you'll hear Mud whispering for a couple seconds, and then you'll hear a crack. And then he'll toss something else into the hole and get up, and it's done. And
Fine.
he's wrapping his hand his other hand where he's now missing another finger.
You need to be that much of a prayer.
I just start filling the grave in. Once I do that, I get back up on the cart, on the wagon.
Once you're on the cart, you can head back down the road. It's only a short journey around this bend, breaking free from the Svalich woods on either side of you, and it's almost a sense of relief as these darkened pines start to disappear behind you. This makeshift grave of these 2 young children, whatever they were. And you head back to Valakai once again. You can see the familiar town below you as you'd be coming in through the west gate, or the Wachter gate. 2 men stand on either side of the gate that have these large pikes. You can see several large bundles of sticks that have been sort of wrapped tightly in the center, with sticks raying out from the sides of it, almost like in the shape of a sun, sort of, have been plastered on either side of the gate and hung there, and both of them have a torch in the center of it. These 2 younger guardsmen will stand in front of the gate, their pikes crossed, as they watch you come forward. And what business do you have in Valakai? And the other one will look over and sort of nudge him. You can see the two talk for a minute. And this younger lad looks over and says, I saw you leave here. You were speaking with Father Lucian before you left, right? Is that you? Is that you?
Erwin had sent us on a mission. And yes, that is us. Please stand aside.
Oh, yes. I remember. Yes. Well, welcome back, my good friends. You're just in time for the festival this weekend. Yes, the Festival of the Blazing Sun. It's going to be a grand time indeed. With that, he'll step aside and sort of smashes his hand on the gate a couple times, and you see it opens up for you all. And he'll, this wide, toothy smile as you all pass through. The other one just stands there completely straight-faced, watching as you pass through. And he says, yes, have fun, my friends. Have fun indeed. And as the wagon goes past, he'll sort of peek around, seeing Vasily back there, and Victor. He says, oh, you brought wine. Is that wine? I smell the sweetness. It's been so long. You know, the Blue Water Inn has been out of wine for several days, besides a few rations they seem to have been handing out. I didn't get any, of course, but yes. I will have to make my appearance tonight at the Blue Water Inn. You're taking that to the Blue Water Inn, yes?
Perhaps. Perhaps it's all for me.
Well, my friend, you're the best friend I've had in a long time. Perhaps you can share a bit of wine later. I will seek you down, friend. I will seek you down. He'll turn.
Hidden beneath the folds of my my cloak, the eyes just start going different directions again.
He'll turn back, getting his position, but you can see this excitement on his face. The other man doesn't seem to care at all. And he'll pull the gate closed, allowing you all to enter. Up on the hill, you can see the church, Father Lucian, a couple people outside seem to be cleaning up the yard. You'll see Irina up there as well. Ismark, the two of them standing off to the side. Looks like they're a bit dirty and stuff. They too seem to be helping out and cleaning up the yard and at least, making the place look better. Another man over to the side. You'll see his large frame standing in the door or the old window that conveniently was smashed by mud as he stuck his head through. Look a little bit closer. You'll see Milavage, who seems to be in the process of repairing the window, his trusty shovel by his side. In the town itself, people are everywhere. Everybody seems to be out and about this day. But it's strange. They all have fake smiles, and they'll sort of grin, wide teeth, very falsely as you pass by. You'll see children running about with these little bundles of sticks. They're fashioned to shape like suns, running around and holding them above their hands. A few guards here and there walk through the streets, making sure nobody's getting out of line. 3 men in stockades in the center of town, their heads and wrists stuck through this wooden trap as they hang in the streets. You'll see the Blue Water Inn, the rest of the town. What do you do?
I'm going to think back through all of my academic training in magic and see if I can remember any sort of rituals or anything that's reminiscent of this sun worship, this sort of sun worship.
Okay. Yeah, give me an intellect then with a boon.
My academic magic profession.
Okay.
So that is 22.
Nice. It's a little more on the religious side, but you've heard of the festival. You don't remember being called the Festival of the Blazing Sun, but you've heard of festivals much like this where they burned great large bundles of sticks shaped like suns usually in honor of different gods, morning lords, and such like that. It seems to be more of a religious festival. Usually they did it late at night um, during the different equinoxes, basically calling forth the morning once again. It's almost like they're trying to do some sort of ritual or festival to bring morning back once again.
In any of the iterations that I remember reading about, did any of them involve human sacrifice?
Uh, Probably, yeah.
Gentlemen, I think we should stay inside this night.
You'll see posters here and there scattered about the town on boards or on trees and poles, side of houses. The festival is actually this weekend. It is currently
Oh, okay.
4 days away.
I have more of a curiosity with what will happen at this festival, but part of me just wants to be far away from it. Something unnerving about these people.
And with that, some older man will walk by you, his yellowish teeth just smiling as he grins, walking past you, Vasily, eyes staring at you before he turns and continues on.
Let us make our delivery. And we should probably stay the night before we get back out on the road. I'm not sure I want to be traveling in the darkness.
No, definitely not. Well, whatever light there is in this horrible place.
As you say that, Mud and Vasily, you can hear this gruff voice come around the side of your wagon. Of course you don't want to travel in the night, beast. I'd rather slay you during the day, you ugly ass. Butchered you. Yes, I've done that before. Many like you. And the goats, I eat goat for breakfast.
For breakfast? You should have something a little more fibrous for breakfast.
You see the large form of Izek as he stands off to the side, this one mutated arm hanging at his, holding onto his huge axe. He has the hilt of it planted on the ground. Says, and what brings all of you back to Valakai? I thought you left this place. We don't approve of beggars, of beasts, of scum.
Oh, we're hardly beggars, beasts, or scum. We've just brought the wine.
Then you must check in with Mayor Velakovich. The wine is his.
No, the wine belongs to Erwin.
And his eyes will narrow as he steps forward and sort of hefts his axe up a little. The wine belongs to Mayor Velakovich. Erwin is but a recipient.
Well, he can come and get it from Erwin.
Come. We're going to go speak with Mayor Velakovich.
I am going to the Blue Water Inn.
Says, no. You, Monak, are coming with us. You can see this arm that he has, this thick, smoldering black smoke seems to start wafting off of it. His eyes will glare a little bit. Give me a will challenge roll, Mornak, with 2 banes.
Victor will actually speak up too while this is going on. How does he know your name?
He'll glance at you, Victor.
Oh, yeah. No, that's going to be a -1.
He looks at you, Victor, and says, I know everybody's name who enters Velakai. It is my job. And you, Monak, you can go piss yourself. And you'll see Mornak as he just wets himself in his seat. And he too will have this black, smoldering smoke seem to come off of his cloak, or his clothes, and around him. And you, beast, you do not deserve a name. Come, And with that, he will turn and start walking down the road. Doesn't really look to see if you're following, but do you, Mud?
Is he walking towards the Blue Water Inn?
It would be down the road in the same direction, but you can see he's headed off to the right to where there's a larger mansion house, the mayor's house, which is a little bit before the Blue Water Inn. It's like a block away.
I'll look back to Victor, Mornak, Vesely, Dre. Just nod and start bringing the cart. You said the mansion is before the Blue Water Inn, right?
Mm-hmm.
As we get up, I'll jump off the cart and swat one of the horses and say, make our delivery. And I'll try to hurry the cart along past the mansion as I jump off.
As he does that, I quickly grab the reins.
Give me an agility check, Vasily. I'm going to say with one boon.
That's 14.
As you jump off this wagon, Mud, come to your land on your feet and motion these horses forward. You're able to grab the reins of Vasily and start to lead them towards the Blue Water Inn. What does Victor and Mornak do during this?
Mornak's going to go ahead and jump off the wagon and just ready his staff.
And how about Victor?
What side is Mornak on?
It's up to him, whichever. You could be on the side where Izek is or on the opposite side. It's totally up to you.
On the opposite side, he's still a little afraid of this guy.
I think Victor will jump off and go on the other side where the side that Izek's on. And just kind of walk alongside the wagon.
And does Mud jump off to face Izek or on the opposite side?
I think right to face Izek.
Don't have fun without me. As I lead the cart up to the Blue Water Inn.
As you smack the ass of these horses, Mud, you can see that they take off into a break. You've sort of guided the cart here, so when they take off, they're headed right towards where the Blue Water Inn is. You'll actually see a couple of the patrons or the workers, the maids and stuff out front. Looks like they're filling up some troughs for the horses and whatnot. Who will turn and take a look as you do this, as you jump off. You can see Izek turns, and he looks at you for just a moment, Mud. And his eyes scan, looking at Victor and Mornak, and then back as these horses start to take off. And he stands, sort of this calm look on his face, and he lets them get 10, 15, 20 feet away as they break into a run. And he'll sort of lift his axe and sets it on his shoulder, and then he just hurls it forward. You can see this black streak through the air as it severs both of these horses in half. Their bodies crumple. Give me an agility check, Vasily, as the front of the cart digs into the ground.
7.
And with that, Vasily goes flying forward off the front bench of this thing. The whole cart just smashes the front end down into the ground, comes to a halt. 3 points of damage, Vasily, as you're hurled from the front across the dirt and scrape across the ground a few feet. When you look back at Izek, this huge axe is in his hand. That was foolish of you, beast.
The axe returned to his hand.
And he'll reach out this huge, deformed hand. You can see it has 6 fingers long, sort of this bruised black and purple sort of color, and reaches out. Give me a agility, I want to say with 2 banes. I need an agility check from Mud with... No, 3 banes, please.
Ooh. Okay. 12.
Nice. It'll reach out. You can feel one of these fingers scrape across your cheek as he sort of reaches out. Looks like it's going to wrap around your head. His hand itself is bigger than your own hand or your own head. Looks like he's reaching out to grab a hold of your head, but it just sort of scrapes across your cheek as you jerk your head to the side. You can take 1 point of damage, but you can feel the burn and the heat that comes off of his hand. And he'll smile. Quicker than I thought. He'll glance. Once again, these 3 barrels of wine rolling across the ground. It'd be a shame if somebody destroyed this wine and pinned it on you, wouldn't it? And he'll start walking over towards where the barrels are on the ground.
Mornek's just gonna shout out.
He's gonna like bull rush.
No!
Yeah, Victor's gonna run and like tackle him or try to attempt to tackle him and push him away from said wine.
Well, you can do that next session because I think that's a perfect spot to end it.
What a
really?
cliffhanger.
Yeah. I don't think there was any chance of avoiding this one.
Well, no. And then, yeah. You guys remind me that's what I plan on doing.